Hi friends, and welcome back to Max Electronics. In today's video we will be making a remote controller for the fog machine or foam machine, snow machine, any type of the machine that requires a timer and rate and a remote control. So what inspired me, well, really not inspired, I bought a really good fog machine for 20 bucks and it's a DMX one. It's got everything you need. It's worth a lot more than 20 bucks. It did need to be refurbed. It had a broken tubes inside and that sort of stuff, but it was working sort of. So anyway, the machine is fixed and it didn't come with any remote control, and though it works with the DMX, I still don't have a remote control if I want to run it from the remote controller. And to buy those remotes, they sound like 100 bucks, not worth for something like that. So I've designed one. And again, this is universal one, so if your fog machine doesn't have the DIN5 connector, so that's the cable that I have for it, it's a standard 5-pin DIN. If your machine has the IEC type with the 3 pins, then you may need to install either relay in the machine or triac. I'll explain in a second. So this is beautiful boards from PCBWay, as usual. Don't know what I'll do without them. Amazing as quality, and yeah. So let's go over the schematic quickly and have a look what I've done here. So we've got the connector for the fog machine. As you can see, the pin number 1 is the heating LED that will indicate when the machine is heating. Pin number 2 is the fog, or it's a trigger. Pin number 3 is an indicator when it's ready. Pin number 4, it's a voltage power supply for the remote, and pin number 5 is ground. So if your fog machine has 3 pins like I mentioned before, then you will need to add a little voltage dropper inside there, or power supply, to power this circuit. And you will also need to either install a relay to trigger the fog machine. If you do install relay, then you bypass this circuitry completely. You see this 1 meg resistor and 10k. Is that the right one? That's interval. No, that's not the right one. Hang on. It would be, where is it? Oh, it's this one here. So see fog, and that line would be going straight from transistor to the fog. You will be bypassing R9, R7, RV4, R14, and RV3 will be just direct line. There'll be no resistors. So you will be losing the middle rate resistor, so you'll still have the interval and the delay. That would be still working, but you would not have the rate adjustment. If you install a triac, then you can use that circuitry and you can actually adjust the rate of how much fog or snow or foam you're outputting. So I'm using ICM 7556 timer. It's a dual package timer in one chip. So you see 2 ICs, but it's actually just one IC. One is responsible for the interval, and the other one is a duration. So the interval is how often the fog machine is going to be outputting, so say every 3 minutes, and the duration is how many seconds. So every 3 minutes, let's say, it'll output it for 5 seconds, and then again every 3 minutes for 5 seconds. That's this circuitry, and this circuitry is a rate, so that's how much smoke it outputs, from a little bit to a lot, and that's a green ready LED. So that's a very simple circuit right here. So let's get ready. There's parts already ready. Let me get them out. Let's have a quick word from my sponsor, and then we'll start assembling this beautiful PCB board. And by the way, this is all through-hole components except 2. There is 2 little resistors. One is right here and one is somewhere nearby as well. That are SMD, and the only reason that I've put them as SMD because I didn't have those values in a through-hole component. But yeah, the whole board is all through-hole except the 2 resistors. So here is a quick word from my sponsor. This video is sponsored by PCBWay. PCBWay is the leading manufacturer of high-quality multi-layer circuit boards with unbeatable prices. Simply upload the zip file with your project directly to the website, select your preferences, preview your board, select the postage, and get an instant quote. Now you're just one click away from getting your project completed. PCBWay also offers a range of services such as PCB assembly, CNC milling, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication, and injection molding. Your project will be manufactured by highly trained professionals with a state-of-the-art equipment and delivered to you in no time with safely packed and vacuum-sealed packaging. Prototype the easy way with PCB way. Quality, integrity, reliability. Thank you PCB way, and all the components are ready. By the way, I did not mention before the switch here. This is for the timer on and off. You could use your own. I didn't want to put any specific switch, in case you couldn't find it, or so this is just a simple switch with an LED that indicates if the timer is on or timer is off. That goes to 3-pin JST connector, so you can connect any switch of your liking. You don't even have to have the indicator, it's just on-off switch for the timer. So let's start assembling. Okay, so that's been done and soldered together. Here it is, the beautiful PCB board. So I think it's time to test it out. I've got this already hooked up to the fog machine, but haven't turned it on yet. Let's see. That should be off. So I'm gonna power it on, and we'll see if this is gonna work. Okay, so the red one means it's heating up. I think the machine is ready. I'm not sure why the heating is still on. Let's try. Well, there's still no output. So I guess it's still heating up. The reason that is glowing blue is because it's bipolar LED, and actually the line where it sits between the between the ready and another line or something, it is actually reversed. So once it is ready, it flips the polarity. So this is a bipolar LED, and it's going to show ready all the time. So I guess I'll have to replace the LED in the button. However, this should be outputting, but it's still heating up. So we can quickly, while it's still heating up, try the timer and go with the low duration. Okay, that's continuously outputting, which it shouldn't be doing. Let me just check to make sure that this has been tuned. Okay, so we need to... Okay, that works. So we need to adjust this one. There we go. so now it works, but the timer is not working and I have to investigate why. So give me a second. The room is filling in with fog. So the trigger is working, that's been adjusted. Now I just need to check why is the timer always outputting, and for that I'm gonna connect a power supply and an output, and probably swap that LED because that shouldn't be ready so quickly. So I'm going to turn it off, and oh my god, the whole room is full of smoke now. So give me some time to investigate why the timer isn't working, and I'll be right back. So I have found the mistake that I did, actually a couple of mistakes. The first one was that little R10 47K resistor, instead of being connected to pin 8, it was connected to pin 9, therefore it was 5 volts continuously feeding that trigger transistor. So I've changed that. I've simply just desoldered it from here, as you can see, one pin, and I've tacked it to that pin 8. Which is where it's supposed to be, and I've changed it all in the schematic and on the new schematic and on the PCB design as well, so all the new files that you get are all corrected. And the second annoying mistake that I did is on that duration pot, it was actually flipped other way around, so that would be the longest duration output and that would be the shortest, so I flipped that back, and on the board here I simply just cut the track here and joined it with a solder blob here, so that was easy correction. I've disconnected the fog pin just so I can test it out, otherwise the room was getting full of it. So as we can see, that's working fine. And if we enable the timer, so you can see it's outputting and it's off. And now it's going to do it again. So if I change that and increase it, that'll be outputting for longer now. As you can see, significantly longer. And that's it. And this is the actual duration between the outputs. So I'll increase it a little bit. So now we're going to have to wait for a little bit longer to get that short burst. And again, we're waiting. It's probably about 10 seconds or something. I'm pretty sure it goes up to 5 minutes in between the bursts, so maximum. So that will be maybe 45 seconds or so. And the rest is working fine. So that's 2 mistakes. I've corrected them. And I think it is now time to print the 3D enclosure for it. So that would be interesting, but still waiting for it. Probably too long. I'll just take it down a bit. There we go, there it is. So I will, actually I'll show you, I'll turn the fog machine off, well I'll turn the timer off. I'll take that out and I'll put that pin, or the fog trigger output back in, so you can see that the timer is working. Right, that's back in. The timer is off. So obviously that's working, as you heard. And now let's go for the timer. I'll set it to all minimums. And here we go. So that's working fine. And yep, it is time to design the enclosure for it. I don't know if you can see all the smoke that is filling the room. But yeah, I will design and print the enclosure and then I'll come back. Jesus Christ, that is a lot of smoke for a small room. Alright, see you in a second. The top cover has been 3D printed. I am currently 3D printing the bottom one, so it's got the 4 posts for mounting the circuit board, and we've got another 4 for the actual back enclosure to be put together. So let's see, if I haven't tried fitting anything yet, so let's see if it'll fit in. So that's our timer button. It is a little bit tight. There we go. It's in. So that fits in well. Let's try the board. See if my calculations were correct. Yes, they were. So that's sitting nicely and flush. Yeah, button is free as well. Alright, so I'm gonna find some screws and... actually, does that line up? Yeah, it does. So the holes line up perfectly as well. So I'm going to find some screws, mount it all together, and put the knobs on as well. And we'll check it out then. All the parts have been printed. We've got the ready remote controller. That's what it looks like on the other side. So it's been screwed in and everything is fine here. The zip tie on the cable just as a lock. That's the back of it. It's just a simple back, so fingers crossed that it's gonna fit. I haven't tried to match them yet, but there is a groove on the edges. I don't know if you can see, there's a 1mm groove here, and it should go into the other one to line it up perfectly. So put the cable in. The cable seemed to fit fine, and now let's try to push that in. Oh yeah, it fits perfectly. Alright, let's screw it in. Now there is a little bit of a resistance on the cable because it's supposed to squash it a little bit. Alright, give me a sec, let me just line it up. Here it is done, and it's actually so good you can barely see the joint line there. It's matched really well. The cable is jammed in there as well, so it's sitting firmly, it's not going in or out. It's got a little bit of weight to it, so it is sitting fine on the table. You could probably use a double-sided, what is not double-sided, the magnetic tape, you know, similar to magnets on the fridge, and stick it on there, and that would be ideal if you want to stick it onto the table or something like that. I'm going to turn the fog machine on, and that's working fine. So obviously no output because it's not ready. The timer comes on. Let's wait for it to heat up. That's all done, and I've adjusted the output here. I've drilled a little hole so we can adjust the trim of this, and it is ready. And let's try timer. That works as well, and the room is now covered in smoke. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. This may become very handy for you in case you want to do it for the fog machine or snow machine or foam machine, any type of machine that you want to put on the remote control. If you buy a cheap one, you can put a triac in it or relay and still use that sort of a remote. That's it for this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. All the files for this are included on Patreon, and that's it. I will see you next time. My name is Max. Bye.